Thailand variants at their best. I mean, look at this. Mattel changed the entire expression here for James Cleanair, and I love it. That's exactly why we're opening him up today, to compare this new Thailand version to the older Chinese counterpart. I'm actually really excited for this review because, James Cleanair has always been one of my favorite piston cup racers. I love Vitoline, and I can't wait to add this new expression version of James to my collection. So welcome back, guys, to another Disney Docket presentation. I hope you guys are all doing well amidst everything going on right now. And hopefully, some of you actually may be returning to some resemblance of normalcy, and others probably not for a little bit, like myself, still in lockdown here, but we're definitely on the upswing. So without any further ado, we're going to get right into the review here of James. Now, this is a relatively older Blue Desert release. I believe he was included in the second case of Blue Desert with Hot Rod Smokey and Hot Rod Junior Moon, which I think was like case R, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, this one's on a terrible packaging. The blister's messed up and the card back. So it gives me a perfect opportunity to open him up. So there you can see James's art, and he looks phenomenal. Of course, he's in the Dinoco 400 series. You can see there Todd Marcus, Claude Scruggs, Holland Gass, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Aiken Axler, Ruby Easy Oaks, and Dirksen D'Agostino. So a fair amount of these actually did get released in Blue Desert. You had Claude Scruggs, who will actually be comparing James to because they're the same model. And I did review him before. I'll link that in the description below, along with the card suggestion pop-up in the top right-hand corner. Hall got released for Blue Desert, Aiken did, and Dirksen will be in the future. After the Dinoco 400, a tiebreaker race is needed to determine the winner of the Piston Cup. So you can see Chick Hicks there and the King, both of which have already been released under Blue Desert. Of course, we have a nice little prototype image of James Cleanair where he has a grill, but as we probably all know, he doesn't have a grill in the movie and he doesn't have one there. I don't know why, just a little unique thing about James. And then you have a shifty drug here, Kevin, a shift racing tire, my bad. Kevin Shiftright's the Clutch 8 racer. Can't believe they have two Kevins that are the same exact model too. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, I'll be right back with Mr. Cleanair all opened up. So here is James out of the package, and he looks phenomenal. This expression really pops out to me. Like, he just looks quite a bit different from the original version, and we'll compare them here in a couple moments. But first, I want to show you a couple pictures of him from the first Cars movie. Obviously, though, he doesn't speak. He's just a background racer, but still cool to see him. And we've, garnered such strong connections to these Piston Cup racers because they've been with us for so long, and we just absolutely love their unique and colorful designs. So yeah, we're going to take a look at James first here, just compared to the Chinese version, and then we'll compare him to the two other cars that are his model that were released under Thailand. That was a lot there to say, but we have Greg Candyman and Claude Scruggs, who were released with this, longer type Piston Cup racer model. And so we'll compare all of them. All right, here. So Chinese version on the left and Thailand version on the right. We all should be saying Thai because that's really what, the adjective is. It's not Thailand, but I don't know. Everybody just says Thailand, and Thai just seems too short, I guess. But anyways, right off the bat, obviously, like we've been talking about, the expression is different. So here you kind of have on the left for China a downward sloping eyebrows that lead into his determined expression, which is, how all of the Cars 1 racers were with this model. So you can see Claude Scruggs here, and you could see Greg Candyman. Both of those are the Chinese versions. They all have the same expression, which was disappointing, but that's just how it always went. With the Cars 3 stock cars, they've changed it up, so that was awesome. And same thing with the next gens, but that's not really how it was back then for Cars 1. But now they're actually changing up some of the expressions here, so this is definitely different. It's not super duper different. Like if you were to compare the Claude Scruggs versions, which we did a review on, they look entirely different to me. But with James here, it's not as drastic of a change, but I still definitely like the change. I mean, it gives him a little bit more character, in my opinion, instead of having the, just standard expression. He looks pretty determined here. Eyes are closer together, eyes are smaller. The bottom eyebrow looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more enclosed, if you know what I'm saying. They're squinched together a little bit more. Taking a look here at the hoods, you can see that the white is a little faded. It's not as pure on the Thailand version. You have the Vitoline logo there for older active cars. So I don't know exactly what this is. I can't quite remember, but obviously it's supposed to be some, I don't want to say medicine, but like just some stimulant or something to keep the joints going. Yeah, something like that for cars that are older but active. You have the headlights there, missing the grille, of course. 61. Now that looks pretty blurry. Now keep in mind, this is an earlier Thailand variant. This was released about 8 months ago, I'm pretty sure, back in like September of last year. And so he doesn't have the better decals that Thailand's been working on that we are seeing nowadays. Because I definitely have noticed a better change or a bigger difference. So you can see the models are pretty much the same. Light your tires there. Tires are quite a bit different actually, which is interesting. And obviously with this model, like we talked about in the Claude Scruggs video, is that the tires are very much so pressed inward. So you can see this massive gap here from the fender. Like if you look at him like that, he almost looks like he doesn't have tires, which I don't really like at all. I don't know why they do that. I mean, he should look like this, where it's pretty even with the fenders. Even this one juts out a little bit, if you can see that. But not at all with this. These are stuck in there on a very short axle. So I'm not a big fan of that, but it's just what they've been doing with this type of model. So we got Chinese on top here. Taking a look at the contingency sponsors. They're definitely blurrier here from Thailand, but they aren't that much blurrier. Like this Chinese version here isn't even that phenomenal in my opinion. Like I can hardly even read gaskets there. And that's obviously blurrier, but it's not a huge discrepancy. 61, a little bit rougher around the edges, and the white isn't as pure like we talked about with the hood, but still looks good. I love that font and how the 6 has this kind of like sharp edge. Yeah, we can see it better here on the roof. So there's China, and there is Thailand. Zoom out for this. Now the window bars underwent a major change. They're thinner now, and of course the windows themselves are opaque, so they're gray, which means you can't see through them. But these ones are transparent, and that means you can see through them, but you really can't because the inside's so dark it doesn't look like anything. But yeah, the window bars are thinner, which I think makes them look more elegant. These just look a little bit too bulky to me. I love these window bars. Taking a look at the Vitoline logo there, the green changed colors a little bit. And this is definitely blurrier. I'm not a big fan of that logo whatsoever. Maybe it's because they had to apply it on like this edge here. Maybe that's why it's a little blurrier. But on the back here, the logos look pretty much the same. Obviously a tinge blurrier from Thailand, but it's acceptable. 61. Everything's the same on this side. On the base here, you can see that he was made on the 22nd week of 2019. So M stands for 2019, 22 for the week, and A for the factory. Now, I find it interesting that this was made almost exactly a year ago. We're not 22 weeks into the year just yet, but we're almost there. And yet he didn't come out until like September. Really, like there was a massive delay. Like I'm 100% sure the first reports of him being found were like late August into September. But if we look at case H, which we just reviewed, with Holly Shiftwell and Jay and Dan Garcia, their date stamps were only from about 6 weeks ago, not even. And they're already hitting pegs at Walmart stores. So the turnaround on those cars was much, much faster than the turnaround on these ones, which makes sense. I mean, this is, the change from the, regular Desert series to the Blue Desert series. something along those lines. Some Thailand changes as well. So that may have accounted for the delays, but it's something interesting to think about. So now we're going to ask who did it better between all these variants here. I already have my mind made up. As much as I love James Cleanair, Claude Scruggs here, the Chinese versus the new Thailand version here, with the just amazingly ticked off expression. I love it. I have to go with that. And for some reason, it seems like with this model in particular, Mattel has been changing the expression slightly. They did not change the expression with Greg Candyman. Unfortunately, I think it would be so cool to see Greg with an expression like this over here. I mean, just imagine that. One of my favorite Piston Cup racers, well, actually, my favorite Piston Cup racer with that expression would just be a dream come true. But unfortunately, they just kept him the same, which is just strange. I don't know why they did that. And also with every other stock car from Cars 1, the expressions are staying the same. So like Aiken Axler, Hall and Gas, their eyes look different because they're from Thailand, but they're the same like mold, the same print. But with Claude here and James, it's evident that they were definitely altered a tad bit. A little bit more than a tad bit for Claude over there. But yeah, let me know which is your favorite pair. Claude for me all the way. And let me know your thoughts on James. Do you prefer the Thailand version or do you prefer the Chinese one? Tough call for me, really. The expression's a massive improvement, but the decals are kind of blurry. And that's also just because, like I said, this was an earlier Thailand release. But we'll bring in the Vitoline Pity here from Cars 1, one of my favorite 2009 releases. Of course, we also have Brick Yardley, the Cars 3 stock car. We got one little line in the movie. And we got Chase Racelet, who also had a few lines in the movie. And then we have Steve Karski, who is Brick Yardley's hauler. We could have had James's hauler, but Mattel canceled him back in 2010. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and for all the recent support. I've been enjoying doing YouTube so much. It's just been so much fun lately because you guys have been leaving great comments, creating great discussion down there. And yeah, continue to do so. And we'll have a great summer in quarantine or non-quarantine, I know things are definitely on the upswing here, so it'll be a good summer no matter what. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a review of JP Drive. Bye now.